The NFL on Fox from Oakland, California. Vikings and Raiders ready to go. Let's head down to the field and Holly Saunders.
Yes, Chris, just a couple moments ago I spoke to Teddy Bridgewater. He told me he is feeling 100% ready and he is not afraid to take another hit. Also, Latavius Murray is back in that starting lineup for the Raiders. As we know, both players suffered concussions last Sunday. They spent much of this week going through all the necessary protocol, passing all the medical tests to get back on the field. And this includes clearance from a neurological consultant who is independent, guys, so they are ready to go.
Thank you, Holly. And as you could see, a blustery day. Actually, the wind gust. It'll be the windiest game they've played this year as Mike Zimmer looks on. Of course, he made a good call, and the wind and the game wound up in his favor in the victory last week. A kind of a cool California day. There was an overnight rain, but the field here in Oakland was covered, and the conditions on the field pretty good, as Jack Del Rio from Hayward, California, is used to this kind of California weather. But RONDE, Norv Turner, offensive coordinator, former Raider coach, but currently with the Vikings, was saying it's going to affect, this wind is going to affect the play calling today.
A big part of this game also, Chris, is going to be special teams. Two good units on either side of the sideline here. Watch the kickers. Going away to your left is downwind. The other way is going to be a factor today.
And the Raiders won the coin toss. They deferred. They'll kick off to the Vikings. We'll get a look at Teddy Bridgewater and Adrian Peterson right away. And the Raiders, of course, will have the wind in their favor in this opening quarter. Oakland coming in after a tough loss against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Vikings come in, and sure they are eyeing that Green Bay score. Lions and Packers at Lambeau will update that in a moment as the Vikings have a chance to win their fifth straight game. Started the weekend at a tie for the top spot in the NFC North with the Packers. And the Raiders at 4-4. For Darrell Patterson, back to receive, went to the Pro Bowl as a kickoff returner. Former first-round draft pick who's now a backup wide receiver. And Sebastian Janikowski, the 37-year-old in his 16th season. Week 10, Raiders and Vikings is underway in Oakland. No chance for Patterson to return. Shows you with the wind, and in pregame warm-ups we saw some kicks go sailing into the seats from the punters and the kickers. And here is Teddy Bridgewater, coming from the same draft class as Derek Carr. The Vikings traded up to take him ahead of Carr a few picks, and he's done well for Minnesota.
Teddy Bridgewater is the catalyst to this offense when they have to win at the end of the games. I need to see it early in football games. We're going to check today and see if they air it out a little bit against this secondary, like we said in the open.
Adrian Peterson on the first carry into a crowd. And the rest of the Viking players on offense that you'll see a lot of today. Rookie receiver Stephon Diggs, who was inactive for the first 3 games of the season. His 28 catches lead the team. And on the offensive line, early in the year, Phil Lilholt before the season started, and John Sullivan injured. Joe Berger has gone all the way at center. The rookie Clemmings over at the tackle spot. There's Diggs. On 2nd and 7, pass is complete and run out of bounds. That's Michael Pruitt, the reserve tight end, who backs up Kyle Rudolph. Up front for the Raiders, Dan Williams. The rookie Mario Edwards moved into the starting role. The injury to Justin Tuck earlier in the year. Malcolm Smith takes in the defensive signals, the former Seahawk and Super Bowl MVP. And in the secondary, Nate Allen back for the first time since the opening game. TJ Carey and DJ Hayden on the corners, and the great Charles Woodson playing at age 39. 3rd down and 3 into the wind. Bridgewater will keep and get it up for the first down. Kind of an underrated part of Bridgewater's game is his ability to run with the football.
He is not scared to get out of the pocket and run with it, Chris. You're absolutely right. But last week, we all saw the hit that he took scrambling out of the pocket. Ended up being a $23,000 fine, and he's knocked out. This is so bad to see when a guy is completely unconscious. But Teddy rallied this week, went through the concussion protocol as mentioned, and he's back out here today.
LaMarcus Joyner later fined for that hit by the league as Peterson gets the pitch and has to come the other way. works his way up to the 35-yard line.
Adrian Peterson has been spectacular this year. He leads the league in 10-plus rushes, but you also have to be worried sometimes. He tries to do a lot when it's not there. He leads the league in lost yardage rushes as well.
And there was an earlier meeting between him and Mike Zimmer about being patient and working with his feet to avoid the negative losses but still be able to break it. And he has. That's a 75-yard run this year. Bridgewater deep for Diggs, and that floated up in the air rather high. Here's some flags flying. One at the 47 and one around the 34.
Well, we're going to see some down the field plays from Minnesota today, and the second pass of the day is exactly that.
Tony Corrente, our referee. Vikings, one of the least penalized teams. In fact, with Kansas City, the least. And the Raiders, one of the more penalized teams in the league this year.
There are 2 fouls on the play against the defense. Illegal contact, defense number 25. This penalty is declined. Pass interference, defense number 25. The ball be placed at the spot of the foul and an automatic first down.
How unusual, 2 defensive calls against the same guy.
There's Stephon Diggs right here, and it's just a little stutter go here, and Hayden jumps on it, pushes him, and then at the end of this play is where the pass interference is, doesn't play the ball. Big play again against this Raiders secondary.
Now, does that indicate that they're going to attack Hayden all day?
You know what? They've struggled making plays down the field, these Raiders DBs have, so expect to see a lot more of this on this day, especially with the win.
Matt Asiata and now Patterson in the backfield. Cordero Patterson has the pitch and running inside the 30 of Oakland.
It's good to see Cordero Patterson getting some reps on this offense. Obviously, we know what kind of returner he is. He's very explosive, but they've struggled, these Vikings have, finding ways to get him touches this season.
Also, Mike Wallace, who was brought in as the speed guy, hasn't caught a pass. Well, only one in the last 2 games. It's been Diggs who's taken over along with Kyle Rudolph in the pass-catching game. Second down 4. Inside handoff to Adam Thielen, and Adam Thielen goes down the sideline near the Oakland 11-yard line, stepped out of bounds.
This Vikings offense has really moved into a 2 tight end set. You see both tight ends right here, and they're staying in the block to protect this rookie tackle. But watch what they do on the edge here to Ray Armstrong, giving up lots of room for Adam Thielen to get this run.
Now we have an injured player who is working his way off the field. It is Adam Thielen, again a very popular Viking from Detroit Lakes, Minnesota, who is an outstanding special teams player. Some unusual calls here that have worked well, getting the receivers in the running game for Minnesota on this opening drive after a gain of 14. Adrian Peterson knocked down short of the 10 and in the area of the black hole.
It's tough to work down in this side of the stadium, isn't it, for Teddy Bridgewater and this offense?
They look serious.
They are serious. I've played here numerous times, and whenever you get down in this corner, it's not as a friendly welcome, I should say.
It'll be 2nd and 8. Opening drive for the Vikings from their own 20-yard line. Jerick McKinnon has come in at running back. Bridgewater hesitates, wide open. He's got his tight end, and he's in the end zone. Rhett Ellison with a Viking touchdown.
Very nice, patient, methodical drive by the Vikings offense here. And as you watch this replay, the Raiders defense just loses track of the tight end here going to the flat. I'm sorry, it was the other tight end. Look at Khalil Mack, who should be out in the flat with Rhett Ellison, and he just kind of drops the coverage, and it's an easy throw and catch. Jack Del Rio told us about this secondary and about the pass defense. There's too many instances of that where guys are left completely wide open, and it comes back to haunt them there.
Blair Walsh, the extra point, and again, the wind at the moment not as bad as it's forecasted to be later in the day, but Rhett Ellison with his first touchdown of the season. You wanted a fast start? That's what Mike Zimmer wanted from his quarterback. He has it. The Vikings with the lead in Oakland. Raider fans more optimistic than they have been with first-year head coach Jack Del Rio. Hayden just went to the Raider locker room, and Thielen has his shoulder pads off over on the Vikings sideline. But Bridgewater, with his 8th touchdown pass of the season, giving Minnesota the lead. And on the return, Tywan Jones dancing outside the 20. Jones, here comes a flag. He gets up near the 34-yard line. Raiders already have had a 32-yard penalty against them.
During the return of the kick, holding, receiving team number 56, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Lorenzo Alexander called for the infraction that'll back up the Raiders inside their own 20. But Bridgewater to Ellison has Minnesota with the early lead. With RONDE Barber, Chris Myers, and Derek Carr leading the Oakland offense from the 15-yard line after the penalty. Andre Holmes is in at receiver to start with Crabtree. And the inside handoff to Latavius Murray. Carr coming in with an offense that has been absolutely explosive. 19 touchdowns, 7 interceptions for him. He's only been sacked 10 times and none in the last 2 games.
This kid has a great calmness, a composure about him. See him lighten up defenses lately, and you just got to be confident in his development in his second year.
We're good. Hey, 52, spot. What? Down. Blue waiting. What's up?
This is Murray, just short of the 20-yard line. It'll bring up third down, and an adjustment because of the injury on the offensive line as you get a look at the skill players, and Crabtree having an outstanding year, a former 49er. Rodney Hudson starting center out with an ankle injury, so Tony Bergstrom has to step in that spot for today against a very tough Viking front line. On third down and 6, 4 wide receivers in for Oakland.
Hey, 50. No. Hey, over here, left, Brent. Waiting. What's up?
Derek Carr on the move. And has to get rid of it. Brian Robinson from his end spot chasing Carr and forcing a 4th down, and a punt coming up for Oakland. We should mention that Eric Kendricks, the leading tackler, the rookie middle linebacker, inactive today for the Vikings.
And that'll shuffle up this Vikings linebacker core. Chad Greenway, who was outside not getting a lot of snaps, will probably see action the entire day as the middle linebacker because of that injury to Kendricks.
Marquette King standing at the Oakland 5. Back in 2013, he led the NFL in punting.
I was down there earlier, and from this same position, I saw him hit about a 70-yard punt. And Marcus Sherrills is all the way back at the 30, expecting this thing downwind to travel a long, long way.
Sherrills had a bruised shoulder, missed some practice time this week. Also the son looking back into it, watching it go out of bounds. Around the 30, we'll see exactly where it is spotted, where the Viking offense will take over at the 35-yard line. Handling the win so far, the Vikings with the lead and the ball.
Injury update, the Vikings' Adam Thielen has a left shoulder injury. He is probable. And the Raiders' DJ Hayden has an ankle injury. He is questionable to return. Just an update, guys.
Holly, David Aberson is coming in to play corner. He started last week. They've done some shuffling in that secondary, so he's in there with TJ Carey with Hayden out. Vikings take over just short of the 40, and Bridgewater on the move. Floats it to his tight end Ellison, who had the touchdown catch, and he gets around the 46, 47-yard line.
Teddy Bridgewater does this really, really well. As you watch film on him, whenever he feels pressure, he's comfortable escaping either way, and just keeping his eyes downfield and finding completion there is impressive. And
close friends with Derek Carr over on the other sideline. Carr texted him right after the Raiders-Steeler game last week when he heard about the concussion, and Bridgewater texted him right back, said, "I'm okay." So these guys care about each other today, obviously rooting for their team, as Peterson gets the carry into the crowd. Malcolm Smith makes the tackle. Nate Allen also coming up from that safety spot. And prior to the game, there they were saying hi to each other. Through quarterback camp, they forged a relationship that's a close bond.
And you have to wonder, too, where the Vikings had that opportunity to select Teddy Bridgewater. Derek Carr was obviously still on the board, but they told us Teddy was our guy. His personality fit what they wanted to do on offense, and that's why he's in Minnesota.
Third down and 2. Complete to Asiata for a first down, and he gets down to the 46 of Oakland. The short passing game for Bridgewater has worked so far on this, now their second possession.
Just has great improvisation skills. Finding a way to buy some time in the pocket, always looking for his check down. He's one of the headier young quarterbacks that I've seen, because he finds where the guys are, his outlets, as good as anybody in this game for a guy that's only in his second year.
4 out of 4 going against the wind in this opening quarter. It looked like he got the Raiders to jump as Peterson goes straight ahead. We'll check the flag.
You don't usually expect a hard count to work on the road. Last week, Minnesota got St. Louis to jump about 4 times with the hard count. He gets them here again.
Offside. Defense, right defensive tackle in the neutral zone at the snap. 5-yard penalty, replay, first down.
Jack Del Rio's a defensive-minded head coach. Ronde, how would you describe this Raider defense?
Well, they call it a 4-3, but it's clearly a 3-4 with those 2 big outside defensive rush guys, Khalil Mack and Aldon Smith, obviously, who they got in the offseason. But they haven't been as productive as you might expect in my mind. Those 2 guys have some serious pass rushing skill, but they haven't really affected the pocket much this year.
50. Ball spotted just across the 40 of Oakland. And after the penalty, a 1st and 5. The carry, Peterson. You don't want him getting loose as he gets a first down inside the 35-yard line.
This Vikings offense has given up a lot of sacks this year, but what they've done really well is move the line of scrimmage and allow Adrian Peterson to be the leading rusher in the NFL.
And it was Mike Zimmer. You mentioned the fast start he wanted from his young quarterback, who was good in late situations. He said, I was whispering all week, sense of urgency in his ear. And he has that in this opening quarter. Peterson got down right away. An excellent defensive play by Malcolm Smith.
Malcolm Smith was a guy that came over from Seattle in the offseason. It's his first time to be a full-time starter on a defense, and he's by far the most active guy right here in the middle of your screen. Watch how he scrapes and reads this defense, beats a block, and still comes in and makes this tackle on Adrian Peterson. Good job there.
A high tackle on Peterson, averaging 4.5 a carry. Jerick McKinnon now checks in after a gain of just 1. Bridgewater under pressure, gets away. Throws, incomplete for McKinnon. And knocked to the turf is Bridgewater.
I talked about that pressure that those outside linebackers need to provide today. Aldon Smith, who's usually a right defensive end, is over here on the left. He's working against the rookie TJ Clements and just bulls him, just throws him out of the way, gets Teddy out of the pocket, and he's forced to try to make something out of nothing.
Matt Asiata in on 3rd and 9. Timeout called. It'll be the Vikings first with 5.5 in the opening quarter. Minnesota on the move. DJ Hayden back in the game for the Raiders, 6 defensive backs.
And Taylor Mays, who's a safety, really playing like a linebacker, number 27 in the game. He's going to probably cover up a tight end.
Bridgewater rolling. Chased and run out of bounds. There was nowhere to go when Mario Edwards closed in on him.
Good coverage down the field by this Raiders secondary here. Really nowhere for him to go, but this hit on the sideline, Teddy Bridgewater, just another big hit by Mario Edwards and drove him to the ground. A little slow getting up.
Bridgewater said I'm 100%. I'm not holding anything back as Jeff Locke gets the punt away. It drops and rolls and into the end zone for a touchback. It's an area where Adam Thielen often helps on special teams to down that thing for the Vikings. So a break for Minnesota. The defense does its job. Now the Raider offense will take the field. Second chance at offense for the Raiders.
22. Monday.
Latavius Murray in the backfield for Derek Carr.
What's up?
From the 20. Time for Carr. And tipped away in the middle of the field. It was Anthony Barr who's playing with a cast on that left arm, left hand area.
You know, one of the big matchups that I'm going to watch today is center Tony Bergstrom against Linval Joseph, the reigning defensive player of the week. He has been such a strong player for this Vikings defense in the run game. He affected the pocket and pass game last week. When you got a backup center in there, just keep your eyes on that matchup.
Sharif Floyd also healthy and active for this game after missing his last 3 to help up front for Minnesota. Marcel Reese in on second down. Carr to throw. Completes. That's his rookie receiver, Amari Cooper. His 46th catch of the year. Carr said, I'd throw it on every down if I could. That's my mentality.
When you got receivers like Amari Cooper, everybody knows what he was. But adding Michael Crabtree, and they throw a lot of short passes in this offense. The Vikings defenders like to play little off coverage, so expect a lot of these quick hitting type outside throws by David Carr today.
Also, this Raider offense, a number of explosive plays. I know you said it'll be fun to watch how they work that against this Viking defense. As Murray checks back in, they only need 3 for a first down. Pressure coming. Carr gets rid of it. Catch made. First down. And still running with the football, Clive Walford, who in the last couple of games has been more of a target in the end zone. The rookie from Miami coming on.
We know that Minnesota loves to bring pressure on third down and third and short. They tried to bring it there, but nobody picked up the rookie in the flat. Just an easy completion there for David Carr.
Walford 2 touchdowns in his last 3 games. After a pickup of 8.
Down! Whitey! What's up?
Carr from the pocket. Looks one way, and it's intercepted. A takeaway for Terrence Newman. He stepped right in front of the receiver and came up with the pick.
Play action pass. He was expecting some more separation. And just watch this inside breaking route. They're just playing a hard corner out there in the flat with Terrence Newman. It's cover 2. We thought it was maybe man-to-man or 3 deep. It's just a nice interception by Terrence Newman. This Viking secondary only had 4 interceptions on the year, and they get a big one here.
Well, the Viking defense, there were none in the secondary.
Yeah, you're right. Excuse me, you're correct.
For Newman at age 37, his first interception and the first of any corner or safety. And it sets up the Vikings at the Oakland 41. Quick pass is caught by Mike Wallace, and Wallace zooming inside the 20 of Oakland.
Well, Mike Wallace is a guy that I in my mind, need to get more involved in this offense. He's a deep threat, but the quarterback doesn't have a great arm, so they don't really get him the ball. He's out to your left. It's just a little slip screen, fake one way, come the other way, and he just got some room, and you see that acceleration. Picks up some big yardage.
Last week he had 1 catch. The week before he had none against the Bears, including a couple of drops. After a healthy gain of 22, Adrian Peterson, and toward the end zone, knocked down short of the goal line. Charles Woodson kept him from getting into the end zone.
Adrian Peterson has the best jump cut in football still. 30 years old, the guy can still do this. Gets just a simple little handoff. It's supposed to go inside, but his lateral movement right there puts his right foot in the ground and just gets vertical and runs away from the Raiders defense there.
7 carries, 30-plus yards already in this opening quarter for Peterson.
50.
First and goal for the Vikings.
Swap.
Adrian Peterson, nowhere. The Raiders clogging up the middle.
These Vikings, you got to give some credit to North Turner and the play calling that he's had so far in this game. He's got the Raiders on their heels in this first quarter. Everything's working for them. They're moving with the running game. Had some creative ways to get their receiver the football, and they're on a scoring opportunity again.
The one-time Raider head coach, North Turner, offensive coordinator for this Viking team since Mike Zimmer took over last year as head coach. Bridgewater. End zone wide open and dropped. Kyle Rudolph was alone but couldn't hold it in the end zone.
This is just a scramble drill for the Vikings here, and Kyle Rudolph does a really good job actually losing his defender. This is inexplicable because he's got great hands. We've seen him make one-handed catches, and sometimes when they're too easy, start looking for your celebration maybe. Kyle, that's got to be a touchdown. Teddy Bridgewater's beside himself.
Well, he's 6'6", and he leads the team in touchdown catches, but let one get through his fingers on that one. Bridgewater, Charles Johnson slipped in the end zone for Rudolph and incomplete.
That's just an inexplicable drop by Kyle Rudolph. It's going to cost him 4 points here. This Vikings offense, when they get in the red zone, it's almost always, when they're throwing the football, it's almost always some sort of pocket movement to get Teddy on the edge. That should have been a touchdown. It should be a 14-0 lead right now for Minnesota.
Blair Walsh to try the field goal. And the short field goal, he's not 20 out of 22 this season. And he's now made 16 straight. So maybe not all that Minnesota wanted, but they get something after the interception and lead by the score of 10-0. There's a new tradition in college basketball, and you don't want to miss the Gavin tip-off games. Matches the Big East against the Big Ten. 4 days of incredible action, and it starts Tuesday. Nebraska, Villanova at 8:30 Eastern on FS1. Vikings have a chance to win their 5th straight, and with the news of Green Bay losing, yes, the Packers lost at home to the Lions. A win by Minnesota would put them alone in first place in their division. They came in tied. They're undefeated in the division, and they will get the Packers next week. Chicago also winning. One of the better coaching jobs, John Fox, this year with the Bears as they move to their 4th victory.
I say this every week. The NFC is just a jumbled mess of teams. It's mediocrity at its best, I guess is a good way to say it. No team is wanting to distance themselves from anyone else. So these teams that probably nobody expected to be in it are still in it here in November.
Taiwan Jones from the 2. Gets a block, and up the middle goes Jones. All the way up near the 40 of the Raiders. Maybe the spark this Oakland team needs in the opening quarter.
Taiwan Jones has great track speed, and when he gets in the open field, he's a threat to take it all the way all the time. It's kicking off this way. It's always going to be a return because of this wind. He had the kicker going the wrong way, but good job by this Vikings coverage unit to get him on the ground. That could have been a big explosive return.
A 37-yard return and good field position for the Raiders, down 10.
What's up?
Latavius Murray, a tough 4 yards. Chad Greenway on the tackle. Let's get a game break. Say hi to Mike Hill.
Hey, here's why the Vikings are in first place in the NFC North for now. Packed lines, 37 seconds left. As Aaron Rodgers adjusts a 11-yard TD catch. 2-point conversion is no good, but Demarius Randall recovers the onside kick, sets up this Mason Crosby field goal for the game. 52 yards out, but he shanked it. Lions get their first win at Green Bay since '91. So celebrate, Vikings fans, for now.
Remains second down.
Thank you, Mike. And we had a substitution violation, another penalty here. It's already the 4th penalty on the Raiders here in the opening quarter. 2nd and 11, backed up at their own 39.
They're at their 52. Waiting. Wait, hold on. Hey, attack 0, 0. 34, 0. Hey, 52.
That's Murray. And he'll fight to get up just short. Again, Greenway on the tackle, just short of the 45-yard line.
I expect Oakland to spread out this Vikings defense. They have 4 receivers on the grass just then. 3 receiver set coming up obviously on 3rd down here. But they only have 1 nickel that plays on this Vikings defense. It's Captain Munderland. So you put that many receivers on the field, and Anthony Barr, one of these safeties, is going to get matched up. We'll see how that plays out as this day goes on.
On 3rd down and 6, there's time for Derek Carr, and he threw it a little behind the receiver. It's not going to be enough for the 1st down. That's Lee Smith, normally the blocking tight end. And as the opening quarter is winding down, the Vikings have a 10-0 advantage after 1. The 2nd quarter, and the Raider fans a little bit frustrated. Marquette King on to punt, going against the wind. He had 1 punt of 41 yards with the wind. And looks like we have a whistle and a flag here. And it could be another penalty.
Original play. False start. Offense, number 57. 5-yard penalty, 57. Repeat 4th down.
And that on Ray Armstrong. Raiders have handcuffed themselves a little bit with penalties in this opening quarter, and that'll back them up even a little bit more. And maybe not normally a big deal, but again, with the wind, inconsistent, they make it a little bit more difficult for Marquette King. Marcus Sherrill's back to return. There's a good sense of how blustery it can be here in Oakland. Sherrill standing at the Viking 15-yard line. Waving everybody away. It drops and bounces around the 30, where the Raiders are quick to down it. Along with our producer Mike Burks, director Michael Frank. It's fun to be in Oakland. I know they could use a new stadium, but there's great history and tradition here and great football. And this Raider team, they want respect around the league. Trailing here early, they need to get their offense going against this Viking team.
They do. They only had 10 plays in the 1st quarter, Chris, and you got good job by Minnesota keeping Derek Carr off the field. He's put up some impressive numbers, and they know they're going to win this football game. They're going to have to play stout defense on Minnesota and just manage the field on this side of the ball. But I'm wondering, Chris, they had the win in the 1st quarter, didn't take any shots down the field. We'll see how that affects this game.
And now with the win, handoff inside. Stephon Diggs, the 3rd different Viking receiver to take a handoff and run the football, and he's up across the 40.
Well, they used to do a lot of this in years past, obviously with Cordero Patterson. We've seen Mike Wallace get a little quick screen. We've now seen Stephon Diggs get a handoff. Adam Thielen had one earlier in the game. Again, some creativeness by this offensive coordinator been effective today.
A pickup of 10, so a 1st down from the 42. Vikings, other than the opening drive, Ronde, where they marched 80 yards for the touchdown, they've had really good field position. Missed a touchdown opportunity on a dropped pass, but settled for 3. Peterson has room. Adrian Peterson is loose near another 1st down in Raider territory, and Charles Woodson making the tackle.
A lot of good blocking up front by these Minnesota offensive line, but this is all Adrian Peterson here. When he gets into the secondary and the second level of this defense, just as quick as his feet, the power that he still runs with, big play.
Matchup of Hall of Famers as Woodson and Peterson clash.
For sure, Hall of Famers, both of those guys. Awesome players.
After a gain of 11 on 1st down, it's Peterson again, working his way down to the 40. You know, Peterson said that he came in leading the NFL in rushing, Ronde, and of course he's a 2-time NFL rushing champion. He said at age 30 it would mean a lot to him to be able, it's down the road, he wants to win games, but to win that title given all that he's been through.
This is a guy that is highly motivated after spending a year out of football. And the offensive change, the team has changed in that 1 year that he's been gone. But the catalyst, again, it's not Teddy. It's Adrian Peterson.
Nearing the 50-yard mark already on 10 carries. Bridgewater steps up in the pocket and completes to Peterson, who puts a move on. And Adrian Peterson, the receiver, goes out of bounds inside the 25.
Adrian Peterson's playing a lot more downs this year than he has in the past, partly because they want to find ways to get him the ball. And when you do, it's because of this. He can make people miss, get him in the open field, have two tacklers right there, and really a bad job by the linebacker safety, Nate Allen. One of those guys has to leverage the outside of Adrian Peterson. You know he's going to jump cut on you. He's able to pick up a bunch more yards.
Jerick McKinnon checks in for him after a gain of 16. He's the fourth leading receiver on the Viking team is AP. Here comes a flag.
False start. Offense, number 63. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
That call on Brandon Fusco. And the first penalty against the Viking team will back him up just a little bit. Part of the reason when Adrian Peterson was out last year, the first year of Mike Zimmer and Norv Turner, there was some offensive adjustments, picking things up on third down protection that he wasn't as familiar with, and they'd like to be able to have him in there more in those situations, obviously to help Bridgewater. McKinnon splits out as a receiver, and he catches the football and gets a few blocks, knocked down around the 22. Malcolm Smith again on the tackle.
Great mix. Again, adding Jerick McKinnon into this little screen game. You don't see him do a lot of this through the year. I haven't, but it has 5 different guys that have touched the ball in some capacity in that way, and it's been effective. Again, Raiders defense needs to find a way to get a stop, find a motivation, something here to turn this tide, because this offense is just, at will marching up and down the football field.
Vikings dominating the first quarter, and now 11 and a half remaining in the second. 2nd and 8. It's Peterson. Touchdown to the 20-yard line. You mentioned Bridgewater and the different usage of, he's completed already to 6 different receivers. And we had a game this year the Vikings did with Bridgewater where he hit 11 different receivers. Not afraid to spray the ball around on 3rd down and 6. Jarius Wright checks into the game at one receiver spot. Diggs and Wallace the others. Bridgewater with all kinds of time and just gets rid of it. Well, a good stand by the Raider defense that you were just talking about.
They took a page out of Mike Zimmer's book there, had all those players on the line of scrimmage and then backed out and played zone. It's really a place for Teddy to get rid of that football. Good stop by this Raiders defense. They needed something to stem the tide a little bit of this Vikings offense.
Blair Walsh, who hit from 20, has the wind with him on this kick from 38 yards. The kick is good. Vikings jump out to a 13-0 advantage here in Oakland. Here in Oakland, you see, we can all get along. Guy on the left has the upper hand so far. His team does. And the wind knocking the ball off the tee as Blair Walsh was ready to kick off after going 2 for 2 in the field goal department. Adrian Peterson, 11 carries, 52 yards. And Bridgewater, 7 of 11 with a touchdown pass so far. And you see that domination you were talking about. The Vikings have held the ball much of this first half of the total yards. Ball comes off again, so they're going to have to hold. Marcus Sherrills is one player coming over. Someone will have to hold that for Walsh to kick it.
I think they get 2 opportunities to keep it on the tee, and after the second one, you're forced to have somebody hold it. We'd be sitting here all day waiting for him to get a kickoff off.
66% of his kicks this year have been touchbacks. He has the wind with him. A strong-legged Blair Walsh. And this is returnable. Tywan Jones for the big hole. And Gets up across the 27-yard line. The 50 Tour, the Super Bowl's host committee's mobile exhibit, is at the Satin Stadium here in Oakland today. And the Raiders' 3 Super Bowl trophies on display in that trophy truck, kicking up some memories. Boy, every time you come up here, too, and it was great out at practice. Ronde, you and I were out there. Howie Long came up, enjoyed his report on the Fox NFL pregame show. We saw Willie Brown was there.
Yeah, that was a cool meeting. Willie Brown's one of the great ones. Great corners, great Raider, obviously. It's nice to be in his company for just a minute or two that I had on Friday.
5-yard penalty at the end of the play. First down.
Tony Corrente describing a penalty that'll be tacked on and move the ball up across the 32-yard line. Raiders with a first down, and the kicking team called for the infraction offside. So, see what Oakland can do here, trailing 13-0.
Down! Blue 80! What's up?
Carr, open, catch made, what a hit. Amari Cooper came down with the football, and Harrison Smith knocked him, and here comes the flag, of course. You tell me, Rhonda, you played in the secondary.
Tough position that Harrison Smith is in right there. Obviously, you're trying to dislodge that football, but Amari Cooper is in a defenseless position. And the flag comes out. They're conferring about this, and you want to be sure, because this is obviously 15 more yards onto the end of this play. If they do indeed give this personal foul on Harrison Smith.
There is a completed pass, however, there is no penalty for contact to the head or neck area. First down.
And it's good that they were able to get together, make the right call. Harrison Smith, as I'm looking at this, and you see Amari Cooper right there, and Harrison Smith is going to come in from left side of your screen. And if you're not in the head-to-neck area, that's perfect football. There's no reason that should have been a penalty. I'm glad that they picked up that flag, because that was a clean hit by Harrison Smith.
And that's the reason they confer. It looked worse initially, and then you watch the replay and you understand. Olawale is in. Jameis gets the carry, and Jameis Olawale gets into Viking territory.
You know, a lot of times, especially on this level now, the guys are so big and fast, and if it looks violent, sometimes everybody thinks that it should be a penalty. But again, that was great technique by Harrison Smith. He hit the body of the receiver. Good no call.
And Olawale had his first career rushing touchdown last week, a 19-yard run against the Steelers. Cooper appears to be okay. You wonder, too, as now Murray comes back in. Again, he's coming off the concussion protocol.
Hey, kill! It's still 58. Press! There's it!
Derek Carr, right on target to Crabtree. It'll be first down to Raiders.
Minnesota's running a pressure here, and this is what you get. You get Harrison Smith on one of the good receivers in the league this year, just man-to-man, hoping that pressure gets there and he doesn't have to cover him for so long. But Derek Carr recognizes the matchup out there and delivers to Michael Crabtree for the first down.
His first catch of the game. Cooper back out on the field after a gain of 13.
Kill! Express! There's it!
Latavius Murray, a good run inside the 30 and taking people with him for a first down.
Runs like that can absolutely energize your offense. This should have been a tackle for about 4 or 5 yards. And just watch this big back use his legs, his power, and just watch this pile move. Some assist by the offensive line and Marcel Reese there. But he picked up about 4 or 5 yards after initial contact.
And we have a player down on the field, slow to get up. That's Greenway. The Vikings already thin at the linebacker position.
And they really can't afford him to be hurt. I was talking to him before the game, and he said he's ready to play the entire game. We'll see how this goes forward.
Latavius Murray running with the football, the other 28, leading the AFC in rushing. Certainly when Adrian Peterson comes to town, pretty much every other running back is overshadowed.
I'll tell you what, though, the guy can run. He's got that high running style, quick feet for a big man. Fun to watch him play.
58, rip! Wide 25! Wide 25, go! Express! Express! Yes, hut!
After Murray picked up 14, Carr in the pocket. Dumps it off short. Can't beat the second tackler as Murray. And the Vikings keep him in check at the 25-yard line. And again, Anthony Barr. Here comes Greenway back in. Barr playing with that cast, smaller, softer cast as Greenway's back in, and Eric Kendricks inactive today because of rib injury problems. He did travel with the team.
58, get down.
Second down 10. Olawale back in at running back.
Blue Whitey! What's up?
Jameis Olawale working it right up the middle. He may have another Raider first down.
Good job again by the interior linemen here for the Raiders. Gabe Jackson, Jamarcus Webb really pushing this Vikings defensive line around. Paul's going to come right through that gap right there. And just watch how this young running back finds a hole, keeps his feet moving, and picks up some big yardage.
And he did get the first down. From Long Beach, California, the free agent in his 4th year, remains in the backfield.
What's up?
Derek Carr, end zone throw a little high. He was trying to get to Cooper. This the best offensive surge by the Raider team so far this afternoon.
Running the ball well. That's the key today for this Raiders offense. You know, Derek Carr, you said it, he'd love to drop back and throw the football, but against the Vikings defense, it's so aggressive with their front 4 and 7 rushing the passer. Got to be able to be effective running it, and they're doing it on this drive.
Down! Blue Whitey! What's up?
Jameis Olawale. And it'll bring up third down. He's trying to reach inside the 10-yard line. Comes Marcel Reese onto the field, along with Seth Roberts, one of the backup receivers.
Well, the Raiders offense, as I was studying this team this year, this third down situation, third and about medium or so, they're dead last in the league in that completion. It's amazing to me with the way they throw the football around it. They don't convert as many of these opportunities. Let's see what they got here down in the red zone so they can keep this drive going.
On 3rd and 8. End zone throw. Catch made. And yes, Clive Walford with a touchdown Raiders. And there is a flag down back at the 5-yard line, the other side of the field.
I can only imagine where that flag is. It's got to be some sort of defensive penalty. But the Raiders are going back into the huddle like it's on them.
Illegal use of the hands to the face, defense number 24. This penalty is declined. The result of the play is a touchdown.
And a gust of wind blowing through the stadium as the Raiders punch it into the end zone.
It's blowing through our booth up here, paper scattered everywhere, but Derek Carr gets a matchup over here, this big tight end on Xavier Rhodes, who was off and inside on that coverage. And again, Derek Carr does a great job recognizing the scheme that they're trying to run and delivers a perfect pass.
His 20th touchdown pass of the season already, and Walford, who Jack Del Rio said would be a bigger part of things because they have a tight end who can block and one who can catch. And they said Walford does each of those things rather well as Janikowski delivers the extra point.
Well, that was the drive the Raiders needed. Into the wind, surprising that they were able to get down the field, but they did and brought this score a little bit closer. Lineup right here, and this is the guy who ends up in primary coverage, Xavier Rhodes, and he gets help from Harrison Smith. Just that little hesitation right there. The ball is delivered. touchdown for the Raiders.
And our cameraman taking a hit. Matt Johnson way to hang in there as Walford had the touchdown. And look at how focused he was.
Still got the shot.
As the kickoff is short. Remember, going into the win, Vikings up across the 30-yard line with good field position, and on the return for Minnesota.
It's a hazardous job down there, isn't it?
Vikings from their own 33. The wind at their back here in the second quarter. Bridgewater to throw. Here comes a flag in the secondary, and he throws the ball out of bounds.
Holding defense number 38. 5-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
That call on TJ Carey, 6th penalty against the Raiders.
TJ Carey, who plays both safety and corner, and he's out here on the outside on Stephon Diggs, and as he gets down the field, that little grab on the back of his jersey, a couple of grabs actually on the back of the jersey, where that penalty came from.
Diggs without a catch so far. First down, Vikings. Bridgewater with time. Can't find anybody. And he'll slide. You know, he told us he doesn't like to slide. In fact, he even admitted somewhat, Ronde, he's a bit of a late slider.
Very late slider. And right there you can see how cautious not only Teddy was coming up to make the slide, but how Lofton took his time coming in there. It's a precarious position for a defender when a quarterback's coming in for a slide, because you're unsure what he's going to try to do to you. It was just a good job there by Lofton not taking that shot.
So no sack, no gain. It's 2nd and 10. Confusion, but Adrian Peterson ends up with the football and is going to go down and lose yardage. Silver and black, a swarm with Dan Williams, one of the first ones there.
Bad handoff here between your quarterback and running back, and you can see he faked the wrong way, or one of those two went the wrong way in that direction. I got to believe that it was Adrian Peterson there actually. And add to that total of lost yardage runs for Adrian Peterson.
That's now the 28th negative run, which is the most in the NFL. Six defensive backs on 3rd down. And he goes down. Getting the sack was Mack. His 5th of the year.
Khalil Mack's got to be the guy that provides pressure. Top of your screen, working again on the rookie TJ Clemens, and just goes right by him and through the block of Matt Asiata to get to the quarterback. It's exactly what this Raiders defense needed right there.
TJ Carey, here comes, hold on, they blew the whistle through the flag before the kick.
False start, offense, number 51. 5-yard penalty, remains 4th down.
The Vikings have done a good job all year protecting their young right tackle, TJ Clemens, but right there in a one-on-one situation, he got some late help, but Khalil Mack went by him so fast that Teddy Bridgewater had nowhere to go with that play right there.
Jeff Locke bounces. Carey grabs it on the bounce at the 25 and hit out of bounds after it looked like he was already out of bounds. Robert Blanton with the special teams hit, no flag over there. Some hard hitting in Oakland. Raiders have the ball and trail. Teddy Bridgewater sacked 3 times already in this game. The veteran Sean Hill, his backup. And the Raiders on offense, Derek Carr, of his 20 touchdown passes this year, 11 have come in the second quarter, including the one that in. And Carr comes out throwing and going deep for Cooper, and he has it. He brings it in at the 36 of Minnesota. There's a flag down.
Talk about some of the differences between Derek Carr and Teddy Bridgewater. It's Derek Carr's ability to do this.
Holding, defense, number 29. This penalty has been declined. The result of the play is a first down.
And he bought himself some time in the pocket, but this is all on Amari Cooper. Andrew Sendejo has a chance to get up there and compete with that. He caught it on the way down. Just a great catch by the rookie.
The rookie who went to high school at Miami Northwestern, his quarterback there was a guy named Teddy Bridgewater. And he's lived up to the hype. 3rd overall, top rookie receiver in the NFL. A gain of 38. Quick pass to Marcel Reese, and the Vikings are ready to make the play. Greenway on the tackle. We have a couple of fine rookie receivers in this game. Over on the Minnesota side, Stephon Diggs, a 5th-round draft pick, but look what Mr. Cooper has done, where he ranks among all rookie receivers.
He's had a special year. A lot of his yards are after the catch. I think he's 4th in the league in yards after the catch so far this season, or at least he was coming into this game.
Now!
He's a special young one.
What's that?
Latavius Murray on 2nd and 10, and it'll bring a 3rd and long. Linval Joseph on the tackle, had 10 tackles last week. So we near the 2-minute warning. Raiders have all 3 of their timeouts. Vikings strike early and have the lead, but the Raiders threaten it. You can get apps, videos, and a lot more at itunes.com/NFL.
Hey, Ron! No, Liz 55! Liz 55! Now!
4 wide receivers for Oakland on 3rd down and 8. Pressure picked up. Carr for the end zone. Catch made! Andre Holmes, touchdown Raiders!
This is the offense they love to showcase. And Andre Holmes is in the slot on this play. He ends up one-on-one with Andrew Sendejo. Again, good decisive pass against that pressure by Minnesota. Just watch this route. He's right here. He's just going to go out and go that way. And the safety, because there's a blitz coming, he sets him up inside, makes him turn around. Great understanding by the quarterback and the receiver. Nice touchdown.
Holmes did not have any catches last week. He did have a couple of touchdown grabs against the Jets. The extra point is through. From 34 yards out, Derek Carr against the wind here in the 2nd quarter with a couple of touchdown passes.
One more look at this touchdown, and Derek Carr, such a confident guy in the pocket. His footwork is flawless in there. He steps up to deliver that ball, puts it right on target. Gets some love from his offensive lineman.
And Holmes, an undrafted free agent signee of the Vikings, cut by Minnesota, claimed on waivers. He went through Dallas back in 2013. And the Raiders have the lead. In fact, all 3 touchdowns in this game have come against the wind.
Don't think that I would have expected that, because that wind is significant, blowing from right to left as you guys are watching it on the game here. But good strong arm throws by a young quarterback here.
And the big plays you talked about against this Viking defense has not given up more than 2 touchdowns in a single game this year.
Well, you live or die sometimes by the pressure, and you put your secondary in some one-on-one matchups. And today, Derek Carr, these wide receivers, the tight end on that first touchdown have risen up to the occasion and have produced against a really good defense.
A A bouncer from Janikowski for Daryl Patterson. Trouble picking it up, but he can run. And gets up across the 30. Patterson down the sideline. Could Janikowski get to him? No! It's going to be a touchdown Vikings on the Patterson return. Unbelievable.
I tell you, sometimes, Chris, when these balls start squibbing on the ground, he muffs it somewhat before he picks it up. The coverage units get lost a little bit. They don't know where the returner is. And Cordero Patterson picked up a couple of blocks. He's got outstanding speed. And watch how long it takes him to get this ball under his control. And the lane integrity of the Raiders coverage unit just gets a little out of whack. Look at those guys on the right side of your screen just pick up a perfect wall right here. And he's just got speed to burn. Sebastian Janikowski's got no chance to catch him.
Back in 2013, he had kickoff returns as the extra point sails through of 105 and 109 yards. Those are two of the longest in Viking history. But a different look at the way this ball bounced. He just picked it up.
Yeah, what a cool shot this is from our film video crew downstairs. And really just a jaunt. Just, I'm faster than you guys. And what a way to turn the momentum right back to Minnesota. And Derek Carr in this offense is going to have to come on the field in a two-minute situation again and see if they can try to level this game.
And in the black hole, they don't like it. I think I see a Viking fan somehow surviving in there.
He's asking for that football.
That's what's great about coming to this building, whether you're rooting for or against the home team. And now a 20-14 Minnesota lead.
We mentioned that special teams are going to play a factor, not only because of the wind, and it's obviously factored there because Sebastian Janikowski put that on the ground because of the wind, kicking into the wind. He knew he was going to get some positive yardage out of there, but some breakdowns in the coverage unit for the Raiders allows for a big score.
There's Brad Seeley on the short end. You saw Mike Prefer on the other side, special teams coach for Minnesota. As Blair Walsh gets ready to kick off, see if Taiwan Jones, it's been a while for the Raiders since they've had a kickoff return, run back for a touchdown. And the wind knocking the ball off the tee again. And that had to be a product, because you know Janikowski has a strong leg, Ronde, of with going against the wind.
Yeah,
so you got to bounce it in there and say, hey, we don't want to get an easy return.
Well, I think he would have liked that ball to go to one of the up backs. You know, that much room for a guy like Cordero Patterson is just dangerous.
A liner with the wind, and Jones springing it out. And Taiwan Jones knocked down just across the 20-yard line. Let's check in with Kurt Menefee in Los Angeles.
Coming up at halftime, the perfect Patriots have a giant problem in front of them as Eli looks to play spoiler against New England again. And Peyton Manning is making history against the Chiefs. We've got all that and a lot more, so stick around.
How's that, TV?
That is no good. I need a lot more me. You know America wants me. Me, okay?
He's a trip. Sometimes I don't know if that's an actor, if that's really Terry Bradshaw.
No.
We get to hang out with him sometimes, in the offseason at our seminar, and it's always entertaining. And with two timeouts, or I should say all three for Oakland, the Raiders down 6, and here comes a flag.
False start. False start, offense number 70. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
And that's on center Tony Bergstrom again starting. He knew earlier in the week that he would be the starter with Rodney Hudson's ankle injury. And the 7th penalty accepted on Oakland.
Hey, we're going to rip. Hey, rip. Run down.
Carr with the quick pass to Michael Rivera. Lee Smith, the blocking tight end, and then Michael Rivera, more the receiving tight end. And we've already seen Clive Walford do a little bit of both. He has a touchdown catch in this game. All 3 timeouts. Actually lost a yard. So with the penalty now, 2nd and 16. Carr towards Rivera, who loses the football, and it's incomplete. It was ruled that way right away, and Terrence Newman, who has an interception in this game with the hit.
Terrence Newman said it earlier that you talk about old players in the secondary, Charles Woodson on the other side. I would counter that it's harder to be Terrence Newman as an old player, still playing corner. He's having a good day so far. There's Charles Woodson, moved to safety in the latter part of his career, and he's just continued to rack up interceptions and big plays for this Raiders defense.
Derek Carr has connected with 8 different receivers. Has to go underneath here, and the quick tackle made as Rivera.
I think that ball is out.
Came out on the end. Let's see, the Vikings are acting as if they had it. Didn't hear a whistle. Just saw the hand signal as if it was 4th down.
Well, I think it was Linval Joseph who came in on this tackle.
All right, and any audio that might be offensive, we apologize for that with microphones close. And it is 4th down. The Raiders keep the football.
They're second.
Vikings will use the timeout. They'll have 1 remaining. You know, when you think of these two franchises and the great history, one of the most memorable meetings, Super Bowl 11, the Viking 4th Super Bowl appearance, the first for the Raiders of the great John Madden. Raider defense, after the offense put up 16 points in a hurry, took care of Fran Tarkenton. Willie Brown had this great 75-yard pick six, and the Raiders won 32-14, giving John Madden his first and only Super Bowl championship success for the Raiders. John Madden, the Hall of Famer, one of the great contributors to the National Football League.
And that stop by the Vikings defense is going to give Teddy Bridgewater and his offense with the win an opportunity in this 2-minute situation to put even more points on the board.
4th down punt into the wind, and a pretty good kick by King, but Sherrills did not ask for the fair catch. Here come the flags. Vikings came up with a football. Now, I didn't see a way for a fair catch, but you still have to have room to catch it.
Yeah, they're going to give him a catch interference here. And this is really, really a bang-bang play. I mean, the ball arrives just as the cover guy does. And they'll talk about it again.
Interference with the opportunity to catch a kick. Kicking team number 22. 15-yard penalty from the spot. Foul. Automatic. First down.
Jack Del Rio does not agree.
Oh, it's close. You know, he gets pushed into Sherrills, and the ball does actually hit him in the chest. And
that's one they could have let go.
I think they could have let that go as well. It was such a close call. The flag came out immediately, so he believes, the official believes, he saw exactly what he wanted. And again, special teams, both two good units here playing a factor in this game.
Jack Del Rio arguing. Our rules analyst, Mike Pereira, watching back in Los Angeles, saying it was clearly interference. That Tony Corrente's crew was right on point with the call. One timeout for Bridgewater. For Diggs on the sideline, and he steps out of bounds after making the catch.
I think Minnesota really needs to be careful with the football here. You got the win. Teddy tends to hold on to the football. He doesn't take many shots, even though that wind is whipping with him down the field. I expect him to try to get this into field goal range, not try to do anything crazy here. Just make sure they get some extra points on the board before halftime.
That was Stephon Diggs' first catch of the game. And we're going to take a closer look. And again, under 2 minutes, the officials will review whether he had stepped out of bounds maybe before he caught the catch. Now, this is the stadium scoreboard that fans are getting a look at as well as the officials take a closer look. Ruled a catch on the field by Diggs. It was a booth review, and they've had a chance to take a closer look to see if he was inbounds throughout the catch.
See his left foot right there. I think this is going to stand as a catch.
After review, the ruling on the field will stand. Completed pass, second down.
and it was close. Good thing that they looked at it. His left heel ended up going out of bounds, but the ball was in his possession, and that's where the ball is spotted.
53!
Gain of 9, 42 seconds, 1 timeout, Vikings. Matt Asiata carries. Gets all the way down inside the 37-yard line, and good enough for a first down as the clock runs. Let's see what the Vikings do with that timeout. And Blair Walsh again with the win. He's already 2 for 2 today. Their place kicker with a strong leg. It'd be a 55-yarder at the moment. Bridgewater gets rid of it. And good pressure from Mario Edwards.
Smart by Teddy, because you cannot take a shot or a sack there. And again, he tends to hold on to the football. He's not making very quick decisions down the field. I'm surprised that they even put him in a position where he wasn't going to be able to throw it out of his hands quick. 20-some seconds on the clock. You would think something quick, get them a little bit better field position for the field goal. See what play they dial up here. It'll probably be something towards the sideline, trying to save that last timeout for their kicker.
Jarius Wright won't get much more. Malcolm Smith with the quick tackle. And looks like he's going to use the timeout and try and kick. Blair Walsh, who has a career long of 56, but in pregame warm-ups, this is him. Again, no rush. The wind at his back going in this direction from 70 yards. With room to spare, that would have been in the seats. And this will be about a 53-yarder. We'll check the exact spot. He comes in having made 17 straight field goals. And the game-winning field goal against the Rams, the 40-yarder in overtime. It was his second in as many weeks. He had the walk-off against Chicago from 36 yards. This to widen the Viking first-half lead. Raiders will get the ball to start the second half. It will be from 53. Jeff Locke, the holder. Timeout, Raiders.
Timeout, Oakland.
Visa halftime report coming up. Highlights of the Lions beating the Packers at Lambeau Field. Viking fans were happy to see that. The Panthers remain undefeated, knocking off Tennessee. Redskins outscoring the Saints. The Rams lose at home to the Bears. Pittsburgh over the Browns. Your old Tampa Bay Buccaneer team. Jameis Winston, the rookie quarterback, beating the Cowboys down in Tampa. Just some of the games, some of the highlights they'll be talking about. And, of course, the games going on, the late games, updates on that. Coming up on the Visa halftime report. And Blair Walsh, his string is over. Misses from 53 after converting 17 straight field goals.
Snap hold were good. Just pushes it out to the right a little bit.
Vikings with the halftime lead in Oakland. Now to Los Angeles in the Visa halftime report. Vikings and Adrian Peterson with a 20-14 halftime lead. Today's excitement brought to you by Nissan. And Cordero Patterson with a kickoff return for a touchdown of 93 yards. With the Vikings on top after Derek Carr had just thrown his second touchdown pass to give Oakland a lead. That was today's excitement brought to you by Nissan. And that return by Patterson, the Vikings this year, they've also had a Marcus Sherrill's punt return for a score and Chad Greenway an interception return for a touchdown. Raiders hoping for a healthy return here to start the second half. Tywan Jones, will he have an opportunity? No, as Blair Walsh sails that into the end zone with RONDE Barber, Chris Myers and crew. Nice to have you watching the NFL on Fox from Oakland. The Raiders trying to get to 5-4. Vikings trying to win their 5th straight. If you're the Raiders, you say, hey, we held Adrian Peterson to under 50 yards. And Derek Carr has shown he can throw the ball around. You kind of like your situation here.
Good job by the Raiders defense in the red zone, keeping the Minnesota offense out. But this offense, we all know what Derek Carr can do with these wide receivers. They give credit to Minnesota too. They've kept some good players in check, but they've given up some uncharacteristic big plays, and it's why the scoreline is what it is now.
Latavius Murray to carry that hole closed in a hurry. That's only his 7th carry of this game. Joseph on the tackle. Let's check in down on the field with Holly Saunders.
Guys, I spoke with Coach Del Rio on his way into the locker room. I said, what changes did you make between the first and second quarters? He said, hey, we made one big change. We woke up. He was very upbeat, said it's really important to get the momentum back on their side as they begin the second half. And Coach Zimmer said he's very pleased with Teddy Bridgewater so far. I asked him if he thought he was being a little too cautious. He said, no, he is just playing smart football. He's very impressed with the run so far. You'll see more of that in the second half.
All right, Holly, as Murray continues in the backfield, Carr fakes to him, and it's going to go down. That's the first sack of this game for the Vikings, and the first time that Carr has been sacked in 3 games. Everson Griffin, who leads the Vikings in that department, made the play.
Everson Griffin on the right side working against Donald Penn, a good left tackle here for Oakland. He's just an energizer bunny as Everson Griffin runs through Donald Penn for that sack. And good coverage there on the back end by Minnesota. He was looking for Mike Crabtree, and they had a little double on him. There was nowhere for him to go with that football.
Crabtree with just 1 catch today. On 3rd down and 13. Carr, sideline catch is made, and there's Crabtree with a first down grab.
Derek Carr is really good at doing this. Watch Captain Munnerlyn in this matchup right here. And Crabtree, they're playing 2-man. Got man underneath. He has help over the top. But look at the break of the route. He's so good at coming in and out of breaks. I've seen film where he gets guys spinning around. Again, good understanding between Michael Crabtree here in his first year and this young quarterback.
And Carr has a string of 3 touchdown passes in 3 straight games. He's got 2 today.
What's up?
Murray, and dragging a tackler across the 36 was Greenway. Greenway played the entire game last week at age 32 and has moved around, started in the middle and making the tough tackle, important part of that Mike Zimmer defense.
And Chad Greenway told me he'd be ready to go. You know, he's been somewhat marginalized in this linebacking core because of the development of Kendricks and Barr. But today, with Kendricks out, he's in the middle. He's going to see 60-something snaps today, and he says he's ready for it.
After the 5-yard pickup by Murray, he gets the football again and hit hard, stopped short of the 39 by Sendejo from the safety spot. And you look at the secondary. I made the point earlier about the interception with Terrence Newman. Ronnie, it's the first Viking corner with an interception. Obviously, they've had a pick at safety. In Greenway, they've had interceptions from their linebackers as well. In the first half of this game, Newman at age 37. Of course, Woodson on the other side at age 39. Getting a lot of attention for his play on this Raider defense. On 3rd and 4, Crabtree snares that ball and falls forward. Looks like it's enough for the first down. Anthony Barr was right there with him. And it is a first down. You know, Crabtree was the guy in the offseason. They acquired him. Derek Carr texted and said, hey, can we work out on our own out in Bakersfield, California? He was the first guy, Crabtree, first guy I heard from. He was out of the country. He was there the next day to work out with him.
It was interesting. He said his brother, David, was with him in San Francisco. And when he was free, he said, absolutely bring this guy in. He's got great hands. He's a competitor. He's only helped this Raiders offense.
50 catches this year for Michael Crabtree. And that was almost intercepted. Terrence Newman almost had his 2nd pick of the game.
Well, Marcel Reese needs to do a little bit better job of coming back to this football, because Terrence Newman at 37 years old can still break on the ball, and Marcel Reese was waiting for it to come there, and he almost got. by this old corner here.
Got.
Nice play, Terrence.
And it's
Good
tougher
player here.
at 37 to play corner than it is to play safety.
Trust me, I've been there. Your legs don't act the way they should.
Is that why you're in the booth?
That's exactly why I'm up here next.
All right, I kid. Carr bounces off the chest, but the coverage was tight on Amari Cooper. And Newman was there. The fans wanted a flag, and I don't see one.
Terrence Newman absolutely ran this route for Amari Cooper. And both of these wide receivers have some subtleties in their route running ability and trying to get guys create some space, but Terrence Newman didn't buy it at all.
They just showed it here, and the fans let out a roar of disappointment.
37 years old against this young receiver, and watch him come out of his break right there. Actually, Cooper got away with putting his hand in Terrence Newman's face mask. A good play again on the corner there.
3rd and 10. Underneath, pass complete to Murray. Can he get the first down? It's some great gang tackling by the guys in purple. It started with Captain Munnerlyn, the nickelback, and it's 4th down.
Well, good job by the Vikings defense rallying to make this tackle. Actually, I think if Latavius Murray would have stuck his foot in the ground and gone to the sideline, he had some space there to pick up that first down. But mentioned it in the open. This Vikings defense is the best tackling football team, I think, in the NFL. They play fast, they play aggressive, they just don't miss.
Marquette King running into the wind, but we'll try to drop this inside the 10 with Marcus Sherrills back there. No fair catch, bounces perfectly inside the 5. Now, did the momentum take him into the end zone for a touchback? Let's see. That should have been down, but you have to stay out of the end zone. And looks like a missed opportunity by the Raiders. They did. They were able to down it, but at the 4-yard line, not the 2. So an excellent special teams play by Corey Toomer. Mike Zimmer threw the challenge flag. The ball ruled down inside the 5, and he's challenging whether there was position established by the Raiders before going into the end zone. He wants the ball out at the 20-yard line.
This is a good question to raise here because it looks like Toomer's shoulder is touching the line.
Let's check in with our rules analyst, Mike Pereira. Mike?
One thing that Toomer did not do is he did not gain possession of the ball, because in order to have gained possession when he goes to the ground here, he would have to maintain possession after he hit the ground, but it didn't. So now the question is going to become, does he actually touch the ball when the shoulder hits the ground in the end zone? On this shot, when he rolls forward here with the ball loose underneath him, if he is touching the ball there, then that would make it a touchback, because if you're in the end zone and you're touching the ball, then that would make it a touchback. To me, they ruled on the field it was not. Now, there's no question he didn't have possession. The question is going to be, can you definitively prove that he touched the ball after it came loose? You know, I think he did, but let me cite some stats for you. In the last 2 weeks, they have stayed with the call on the field 30.7% of the time, and that's a big uptick in staying with the calls on the field than they had in the first 7 weeks, when 46% of all calls were reversed. But to me, this is one where if they get that look where the ball's touching him, they'll turn it into a touchback.
Now, Mike Pereira, it looked like Holmes was number 18, followed him. Could he down it if he's in bounds? Let's see what Tony Corrente has reviewed after the challenge from Mike Zimmer.
Okay. To me, Chris, Toomer has to do a much better job keeping that ball out of the end zone. He tried to jump on it. His momentum carried him in. If he touches it back into play, he's got a ton of teammates there.
After review, the ruling on the field will stand. It will be Minnesota's ball on the 3-yard line. Minnesota will be charged with their first timeout.
And, you know, in there, I guess it's just too difficult to tell. And Mike Pereira, thank you, because you nailed the call exactly. Whether he actually touched the football while his shoulder was in the end zone, and wasn't enough evidence there to overturn it.
And that was the key. There wasn't a clear and obvious shot where he was touching the ball.
Mike Zimmer, 1 out of 4 challenging replay this year. Timeout lost. Raider defense with the Vikings backed up in the black hole will have a chance to make a statement, trailing by 6.
Well, this is where the Raiders in that black hole need to raise their voices and get loud in here.
Adrian Peterson with a big hole and gets out to the 10. It closed in a hurry, but that first step before Aldon Smith got him down, or he might still be running.
Good job again by this Vikings offensive line, creating some lanes for Adrian Peterson. None more important than there to get your offense off the doorstep of the Raiders' end zone there.
Raider defense with 3 sacks today of Teddy Bridgewater. Second down 3. Peterson angling to get a first down and get the Vikings out of the hole, literally and figuratively.
It's nice to have an aggressive downhill type runner. We know Adrian likes to dance a little bit in the hole trying to hit home runs, but when you're backed up like that, get your foot in the ground, follow a blocker, get positive yardage out of that backed up situation.
It'll be 3rd and 1. Adrian Peterson into the crowd. And again, we always assess how tough it is to see, but he got the first down working his way through. 14 carries for Adrian Peterson and averaging, that was his 54 yards a carry.
He's getting the tough yards, making the big cuts, making people miss in the open field or in traffic like you see right here. This is what Adrian Peterson has always done.
And gone over 11,000 in his career. 29 carries last week, the most in a game this year, 15 today. And again, came in the leading rusher in the NFL. Some impressive running backs on that list. On first down, Bridgewater to Peterson, but there is Malcolm Smith.
Malcolm Smith absolutely smoked this screen out. There was no chance for this play to go. And he's been active today like he's been every week. Nice play. Running through the traffic, you get those trees in there, but none of them get out in front of Adrian Peterson before the ball is delivered. Malcolm Smith, an outstanding tackle in the open field.
Raiders have kept Bridgewater under 100 yards passing today. Ken Norton Jr., defensive coordinator for Jack Del Rio's team. Bridgewater, his own end zone. Gets rid of it.
And again, I keep saying this about Teddy Bridgewater. He's holding the football far too long in situations like this.
And you saw Ken Norton, who was a terrific player himself, who spent time in Seattle, and Malcolm Smith, former Seahawk, both doing good things for the Raiders.
I gotta give credit too to the coverage units on the back end for Oakland. These corners underneath coverage is not giving Teddy any place to throw the football. It goes hand in hand.
Bridgewater flips. Matt Asiata goes up the sideline. We might see where that spotted, but was that a forward flip or a sideways pitch?
Either way, it was just a creative play by Teddy Bridgewater. You know, his coach called him a playmaker.
Yes.
This is a perfect example of Teddy Bridgewater being a playmaker. There was no way that he was going to run away from this defense here, but just the awareness. Left-handed, or no, he got it back in his right hand.
Yeah, but that looked like a forward toss.
He's behind the line of scrimmage. You can make a shovel pass. Nothing wrong with that. It wasn't enough for the first down.
But a healthy gain to give the punter some room, Ronde. And you know, you're right about Mike Zimmer said you're not just a game manager. He wanted Teddy Bridgewater to hear you're a playmaker. And that's what he certainly tried to do on that play. It at least got positive yardage. Jeff Locke standing inside the 10 of Minnesota. And T.J. Carey will have to back up inside the 30 of Oakland. Down to one knee and brought down right there at the 26-yard line. As soon as he caught it, Marcus Sherrills, who's a terrific punt returner himself, made the stop. Fox and villains here
galore.
Enjoying a great game between the Raiders and Vikings as Janae Zolawale carries for Oakland. Murray with 9 carries, 37 yards. Adrian Peterson with 60. And Carr 150 yards plus and a couple of touchdowns and suffering the interception. His touchdowns came in the second quarter going in this direction. The wind, again, blustery, inconsistent, but going against it. Murray on a delay. Stop short of the 35. It'll bring a third down. The Viking defense, remember this Minnesota team traveled out here to the West Coast on Friday, Ronde. They wanted to adjust the time. They had a walk through at a stadium nearby on Saturday. There was nice weather. It rained overnight.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea for teams to come out, especially when you're playing a day game. They played earlier in the year, San Fran. We all know how that ended for the Minnesota Vikings. They got destroyed out in San Fran. But Mike Zimmer said he made the decision for this team, this early game, they're going to be out here early. And they seem pretty acclimated to this California time now.
We're waiting! What's up?
Olawale. And that's going to be tough to call that a first down. Let's see what they're saying. They're going to give him a on third and short where they're spotting it. Remember that line is superimposed. They gave him the first down. He got the first down.
Again, good running by the Raiders running back here. Tough yardage through the middle there. Linval Joseph and Tom Johnson, who's starting for Sharif Floyd, who is playing today. We haven't mentioned him yet. Those guys are some space eaters, and they play physical and low. Good job by Oakland to pick up that first down.
Hey, Sarah! Monday, down! You waiting? What's up?
Pass to Murray. Latavius Murray with a move and knocked down at the 45. A lot going on in that play. Harrison Smith came up to make the tackle. Michael Rivera, the tight end, had moved into the backfield. They pick up 8. And bring in an extra offensive lineman here.
Hold on.
On 2nd and 2.
Hey, right here, pitch 2. We're good. Down. Hey, check. Express. That's it.
First down, Latavius Murray gets to midfield. And this offensive line with some guys from other teams, Jamarcus Webb and Austin Howard, who came over from the Jets. Webb was with Minnesota for a while before the Bears. Donald Penn, an old Buccaneer.
Yeah, just guys that really nobody wanted. You know, you got one draft picked up there, but it's a bunch of free agents. 4 starters are free agents. So, in my mind, great personnel moves by the general manager, this coach, and really getting some effective use out of those guys up front.
Former Viking head coach Mike Tice, the offensive line coach here for Jack Del Rio.
Express.
Extra pressure. Carr gets rid of it out of bounds.
You know, I really expected this Raiders offense to open it up, spread out this Vikings defense, and just kind of sling it around the park because they're so aggressive. But every time they do, every time they get spread offense out here, Minnesota is either checking or has a blitz called or some kind of pressure, and just haven't been able to get into that rhythm that we're used to seeing with Derek Carr, in this Raiders offense.
And of course, former Viking offensive coordinator Bill Musgrave now with the Raiders, part of many connections between these two franchises. Jack Del Rio played for the Vikings during his playing career. goes down. Tried to get out of a tackle, and Linval Joseph made sure he didn't go anywhere.
Well, Scott Creighton is the one who caused this initial pressure here on the edge, working on Donald Penn. I'm sorry, that was Daniil Hunter who got that initial pressure over Donald Penn. And then Linval Joseph, who's having a great season here in Minnesota, finishes off this sack.
52. Clear.
Third down and 20. I was looking, Ronde, to see if that might have been helmet to helmet. Want to get your view. It's over now, obviously, as that pass is flipped to Jameis Olawale. And let's take another look and see if maybe that something should have been called here.
This is a close.
He's down right there.
I think he's down right there. But crown of the helmet into the neck and head area. But he is a runner at this point. He's out of the pocket.
Looked like with the forearm, though. He was down before that moment, but they didn't whistle it. They didn't call him down. Result 4th and 11 as Marquette King comes on, and the Viking defense forces Oakland and the offense to stall. Sherrill's back at the 10. Pressure coming, and he got it away. Somehow he got it away, and Sherrill has it getting up out of bounds around the 19-yard line. The hell, that wasn't blocked.
Well, Thielen was right in the foot of Marquette King. Not sure how that wasn't a blocked punt.
Adam Thielen nearly blocking that punt, but it was untouched. Peterson in the backfield for Bridgewater. First down from the 19. And Bridgewater gets away. Signals to his receiver and gets it out of bounds where Peterson was in the neighborhood. Go back to the first quarter. Thielen, who's a terrific special teams player, remember, was injured, hurt his shoulder, and missed a few snaps. And then moments ago, he was back on that punt team.
Yeah, you can see he can't really get his arms up, his left arm specifically, but he's right in there. Maybe he shorts arm that because of that. You see him protecting himself when he goes to the ground, so maybe that factored in not getting that block there.
Peterson on 2nd and 10. Carries people with him to the 25. These are two teams, the Vikings and Raiders, who feel very good about themselves here into the second half of this season, especially compared to where they were last year, and are going toe-to-toe late in the third quarter as time is winding down. There's Derek Carr with a couple of touchdown tosses. And what Jack Del Rio has done just to change the image of this Raider team, and what Zimmer has done in 2 years, this Viking defense from awful to awesome. Now it's the Raider defense. On the spot, Vikings with a 3rd and 4. Bridgewater will run for the first down and keep going. All the way up across the 40-yard line for a first down, Vikings. Coming off a concussion. He said he was 100% and wouldn't hold back. So far he hasn't. The Vikings lead by 6 after 3. With Ronde Barber, Holly Siders on the field, Chris Myers, and glad to have you watching the NFL on Fox from Oakland, California. The Vikings try to win their 5th straight, have a 20-14 lead. Bridgewater picking up the first down on the run. Adrian Peterson. It's another first down for the Vikings.
Go back to that last play. Look at this. There's coverage there. Double team at the top, coverage here. So I'm talking about him holding on to the football because he has nowhere to go with it. So actually, these are great plays by Teddy Bridgewater, getting out of the pocket, showing that escapability, his willingness to run and make plays with his feet and keep the chains moving for this Vikings offense.
Plays with a lot of heart. Mike Zimmer told the story of the draft, debating whether to take him or Derek Carr, and there was a heart murmur for Bridgewater. Peterson carries, and Peterson near another first down, and after the heart murmur, Zimmer said to his quarterback, or at the time, Bridgewater, hey, everything all right? He goes, yeah, I have a problem. My heart's too big.
That's why they wanted him. Now, the guy is an absolute gamer of a quarterback. When the pressure's been on this Vikings offense this year, he stepped up, made some big plays. They don't throw for a lot of yardage, but when it's crunch time and you can't turn around and hand the ball to Adrian Peterson, Teddy Bridgewater has come through for this Vikings offense.
Meanwhile, 87 rushing yards for Adrian Peterson. On 2nd and 2, he gets the football, and he gets the first down. Peterson breaks into the secondary, down to the 21 of the Raiders. E.J. Hayden made the tackle.
The constant pounding of Adrian Peterson is definitely wearing on this Raiders defense at this point. Good blocking up front again, and Adrian's shifty. So shifty, running through arm tackles. You just cannot. 2 or 3 guys have to get him on the ground. There's just not enough bodies here in Oakland right now to do that.
And this from a guy who told us Friday, I'm 90% healthy at this stage of the season.
90% is better than almost everybody else in football there, Chris.
Another 100-yard rushing game for Adrian Peterson. And this time the Raiders will drop him. Curtis Lofton coming in to make the tackle.
Curtis Lofton right in the middle of the field, but really, watch the play right here by Alden Smith that turned it back. This is Curtis Lofton right here. Adrian Peterson wanted to take that outside, but they set the edge, and then Curtis Lofton shoots a gap and makes a really nice tackle on AP.
Loss of 2.
50! Pull!
Peterson, bottom of your screen, splits out as a receiver. Play clock running down. Bridgewater, pressure coming, and he gets hit hard. Alden Smith with the sack.
Asking for pressure from the outside from Alden Smith and Khalil Mack, and they might want to block this guy. Your tackle, T.J. Clemmings, just completely whiffs. He's laid out of his stance, and poor Teddy Bridgewater takes another sack from this Raiders defense. Now, this offensive line, for as good as they've been and consistent as they've been, he is on the ground far too often this year.
And we have an injured player. It's Mario Edwards from the Raider defensive line, the 4th sack of the game for Oakland. The Raider defense stunning some people here. Danico Autry comes in for Mario Edwards, who walked off the field on 3rd down and 18. Bridgewater gives it to Peterson straight ahead, and he sets up a good field goal opportunity down to the 20-yard line. And remember, the Raiders won the toss initially, so not only did they defer, but they do have the wind here in this 4th quarter on their side. So it's in the face of Blair Walsh, who made 2 and then missed from beyond 50. It was 53 yards. This will be a 39-yard try. And critical because they'll make it a 2-score game if he can punch it through. And that's no good.
Not even close to good.
May have been tipped.
Could have been, but when I was down on the field earlier in the game, or early before the game, kicking this way was a problem. You try to overhit it, and you miss it.
That kick was partially blocked by McGill. And of course, any block would be partial, but the ball was kicked low with the wind in that direction. So good field position from the 29. The Raiders take over. And it's Murray. Hadn't been able to break one all day.
Now here's the block. Keith McGill is right here. He's the outside guy, and the jump through is perfect. I mean, that's exactly what it looked like. And Blair Walsh obviously trying to kick this low going into the wind, and you just see the deflection that takes it even farther off course.
And you, someone who played special teams along with your spot in the secondary all those years in Tampa Bay, realizing the importance of a move like that, and it keeps it a 1-score game. Amari Cooper. It'll be 3rd down.
Those plays are so tough to throw against Minnesota. They're so fast on defense. Anything out to the perimeter, they just cover it up. But Blair Walsh here, 2 consecutive misses you saw after 15 straight. And it's really beneficial to Oakland right now. They needed to make a play there, and they did. Keith McGill comes through for the Raiders to keep this a one-possession game or one-score game.
Hey, right here, Rip. Now!
Carr's pass is low. He had pressure coming from Griffin on his backside and trying to get it to Amari Cooper.
And Derek Carr is frustrated right there. He wanted his receiver to run that route a little bit shorter. Amari was a little late coming out of that break. They'll have to punt it away.
Marcus Sherrills back to receive the kick, and you see the numbers today on Marquette King. Has the wind with him here. Sherrill standing at the 15. If it's a field position game, Raiders want to make the most of this, trailing 20-14. He drives this to the 15. Sherrills with the catch and knocked down across the 21-yard line. And a special teams play, Ray Armstrong for the Raiders. Here at Oakland, and that's the new Bay Bridge, and behind it the old one. And Raider fans are hoping these are the new Raiders. Trying to go a game over 500, trailing by 6 as Peterson carries. He's already over 100 yards. Dropped down right away. Dan Williams on the stop. You know, Jack Del Rio grew up a Raider fan. When he was let go in Jacksonville, he said terminated, the first call he got was from Mark Davis, who just said, hey, hang in there. I know you grew up a Raider fan. He didn't have a job for him at the time, but when he decided to hire a new coach for this season, and John Madden had a lot to do with it as well, he called Jack Del Rio.
They got the right guy, I think. The culture and the image of this organization is going to change under Jack Del Rio. Yeah, there's Mark Davis, the owner.
Diggs slips a tackle. Stephon Diggs into Raider territory, all the way down to the 41 of Oakland.
Stephon Diggs has not shown up much today. Haven't given him many opportunities, but he's right there in the slot. He's one-on-one, and Nate Allen, who's just back, gets left in the dust by that cut by Stephon Diggs. Picks up a big gainer to change field position for Minnesota, and when they needed it, they went and brought a pressure, and they weren't able to come up with a play to stop him there.
A 37-yard gain in his last 5 games. He's been a go-to guy, again inactive for the first 3. Peterson carries, and the Raider defense ready for him. 20-plus carries for Adrian Peterson. That's now the 23rd carry.
Stephon Diggs, if you get him going, he'll start talking. He is an excitable young man, isn't he?
He's already had a couple of 100-yard receiving games. 5th-round draft pick from Maryland, who really won out. Charles Johnson was hurt, but he won that starting job. Johnson now active and healthy as a backup receiver for this Viking team. To the 30 for a Viking first down.
Nice to stay aggressive here for Minnesota. You think that they might turn around and hand this ball off to Adrian Peterson. But North Turner, this offense with Teddy Bridgewater, they're going to try to put points on the board here. You don't want to leave it the chance that Derek Carr and that offense will go down and score. So I like the way they're attacking this Raiders defense right now.
North Turner, his son Scott Turner, the quarterback coach for Mike Zimmer. Vikings with the Packer loss will be in first place alone if they hang on and win. Peterson carries. Minnesota will play the Packers next Sunday, and you'll see that on Fox. The standings updated to the moment. Also the Bears winning today. The Vikings are 3-0 in the division in the NFC North.
And he told us he's not even thinking about that yet. Obviously, it would be easy for people on his team to think forward to this big Green Bay matchup next week. But they got to win here first, Chris.
3 tight ends in on 2nd and 5. Adrian Peterson with a first down. Let's get a game break. Check in with Kurt Menefee. Hi, Kurt.
Hello there, Chris. New England trying to stay unbeaten, but the Giants have had their number of late. New York up 20-10 when Danny Amendola takes this. And look at this. Don't look at it too hard. He gets tripped up by his own man, 82 yards in the punt return. They did score from there. They're still down by 3.
Unusual play, and the Giants still leading as Kurt will keep you updated on that. Kansas City shutting out Denver. Matt Asiata with the carry. Now, I want to go back to Mike Zimmer, Ronde, for a moment because he's in his second year. They won 7 games last year with a rookie quarterback, and he being at that time a rookie head coach. And he has some young players on this team, and he doesn't want them to get caught up in the winning and don't take anybody lightly. I think he said early this week, we're still in the low rent district. And I had to chuckle when you've won 4 in a row and you've played as well as they have. But I think he did that, and look what he's done with this defense. I think he did that to keep his team in the right frame of mind.
Yeah, they're moving on up, though, aren't they?
Yes, they are. They're moving up to the penthouse, the top of the building.
He just wants them to keep that chip on their shoulder. It's important for a young football team. Don't believe the hype, because a lot of people gave them the chance to be the breakout team this year. They got to do it the hard way.
Bridgewater, pass is complete. Michael Pruitt thrown down short of the 19-yard line. That's Michael. It's spelled M-Y-C-O-L-E. He's the rookie from Southern Illinois, drafted in the 5th round, and Norv Turner thinks he could be an exceptional tight end over time for this team. But this Raider defense, it seems, Ronde, in the second half has been up against it a lot of these kinds of third down situations.
They need a stop here. A touchdown or a drive continuation here is bad for them. Not enough time on the clock for them to get two touchdowns, I don't think. They need to get a stop here.
Bridgewater for the end zone, and Wallace, and he overthrew him. And the Raider defense takes a stand once again.
Good coverage out there by DJ Hayden. That's where Teddy Bridgewater was going with that ball the entire way. Little banana route. He ran out to the corner, but Hayden was all over it.
So now Blair Walsh, the adventures of Blair. He made from 20 and 38. He missed a 53-yarder with the wind, had the 39-yarder against the wind that was slightly effective, and then blocked by the Raiders from 34 yards. And this time, Blair Walsh delivers. A 23-14 advantage for the Vikings. Back here in Oakland when we were in the break, one of the best tackles of the day, this fan illegally running on the field. And look at the move by Anton Exum Jr. and then setting it up for law enforcement to do its job. Can't help but have that flashback of Mike Curtis, the linebacker, when an unruly fan got out of control. And Mike Curtis won the same number, 32.
Hey, I'm going to tell you, it's a good thing he got involved, because I don't think any one of those security guys was going to catch him.
If you're watching on our Fox affiliate, Fox 9 in Minneapolis, KMSP, or KTVU, Fox 2 here in the Bay Area, with Ronde Barber, Chris Myers, Holly Saunders, thanks for being with us on the NFL on Fox. Go time for the Raiders, who trail the Vikings now 23-14, all 3 timeouts, but it's getting late in the Bay Area. Tywan Jones is back. Blair Walsh, who just made the field goal, drives this to the 5-yard line. And Jones gets outside, maybe a yard after that. Brought down by Matt Asiata, and Oakland will start at the 21-yard line. The Raiders trailing, but have the football. Colin Cowherd is on FS1. Tomorrow he'll talk with Champ Bailey, also Joe Theismann. Don't miss the Herd. Every weekday, noon Eastern, on FS1.
Run! There. Waiting! What's up?
Derek Carr on first down. Catch made falling to the 25, and the knockdown right away is Michael Rivera. Let's get another update with Kurt Menefee.
Well, on a day that Peyton Manning set the all-time passing yards mark in league history, he has been benched. This is his 4th interception. Manning 5 for 20, 35 yards, 4 picks. Brock Osweiler now in at quarterback for Denver. They're down 22-0 in Kansas City. Chris?
Thank you, Kurt. Quite a story when Peyton Manning goes to the bench. Got a hot quarterback here in Derek Carr, completing to his rookie Amari Cooper.
He's going to have to heat up a lot more. Last week in that loss to Pittsburgh, they had 440-some yards. Today, this Vikings defense has held them to about 250, but they got to get going down the field here. Stretch it, give themselves an opportunity to get the 2 scores necessary to win this thing.
You have to be thinking 4 downs because they have 3 timeouts, but only 3:16 to play. Need a touchdown and a field goal if you're the Raiders. Carr from the pocket is on target. Catch made by Crabtree. Down to the 35 of the Vikings.
This was an outstanding throw. A great catch by Michael Crabtree. But Derek Carr let this thing go when he was covered. And his receiver did a great job bringing that one in.
And the decision to go with the hurry-up without a huddle on this series. There's an underneath toss to Murray. He's knocked down. This Viking defense, I mentioned they haven't allowed more than 2 touchdowns in any one game. The most they've given up in any game this year is 23 points.
Well, the Vikings defense right now is not going to give up anything over the top. So you'll see some off coverage. You'll see some hard corners covered too. Make them go the hard way here.
Wide open. Seth Roberts gets out of bounds, and that stops the clock with 2.5 to play, and he got the first down.
Derek Carr is going to have to be aggressive with some of his throws into these zone coverages because they're going to give him everything short in front. Mike Zimmer is is a great coach in these situations. He knows that the only thing that beats him is a play over the top to the end zone. See how they play. See how Derek Carr and his offense handles that.
Carr over 200 yards passing today with a couple of touchdowns.
Hey, base! Reason.
Interference coming on the rush, and it was an excellent rush by Brian Robinson. Made it difficult for him to get the ball to Walford, who has one of those touchdown passes of Carr from earlier in the game.
Well, Mike Zimmer just fooled me because I assumed that they were going to play coverage. But look at all these guys, and they play 0 coverage on the back end. That's why there's a free rusher on the quarterback. He's got to make a quick decision, and Brian Robinson gets the deflection. They're trying to make it look the same here. All these guys at the line of scrimmage. See if they blitz or if they drop out in coverage.
Pressure is picked up. Carr can run for the first down. He's got plenty of room and slides inside the 10. It'll be 1st and goal Raiders.
And here's the point. Mike Zimmer is staying aggressive. These guys come. These guys all come, but he gets a lane there.
A quick snap. End zone throw. Battled for and intercepted. Terrence Newman with his 2nd pick of the day. Carr was trying to get a play off before the 2-minute warning and lofted one up in the end zone.
Well, the player of the game for us is Terrence Newman. 2nd interception of the day. Numerous plays in the run game. When they needed a play at the end, he comes up big for the Minnesota Vikings defense.
And Andre Holmes, who had a touchdown in the first half, who is 6'4", couldn't leap high enough against the 5'10" Newman, who the savvy veteran came down with it.
Well, he thought he had the matchup that he wanted. These savvy old guys understanding the situation, not letting the receiver get behind him. It's a huge play.
Adrian Peterson is loose.
See ya.
I don't think anybody will catch up to Adrian Peterson. It's a Viking touchdown of 80 yards.
Well, you got to think that Minnesota was just going to try to run out the clock here. Adrian Peterson one-on-one with Nico Thorpe. Breaks 1 tackle, and there's nobody that's going to catch Adrian Peterson. Nico Thorpe is going to come in off the left side of your screen. You see the blocks go down. Gap integrity. It's got to come to the quarterback or cornerback, And that's a tough business decision for any player, especially corners in this business, on Adrian Peterson. He runs right through that tackle. A huge touchdown for Minnesota to put this game out of reach.
80-yard run. That's his 6th career 200-yard rushing game. And he ties the NFL record of 6, held by O.J. Simpson. A guy named Tiki Barber has 5. Your brother, as Blair Walsh nails the extra point. A 30-14 Raider lead. The Terrence Newman pick. The Adrian Peterson run. Vikings up big. 23-year-old Teddy Bridgewater, the 30-year-old Adrian Peterson, making it happen for the Viking offense today and really all year long. Last time Minnesota won 5 straight was 2009. They're on their way to doing that. Tywan Jones in the end zone is coming out. And will be dropped at the 17.5-yard line. Derek Carr, after his 2nd interception, brings the Raider offense out, trailing 30-14. It was a quick turn of events for the Raiders here in the 4th quarter. Derek Carr intercepted by Terrence Newman in the end zone. And then Adrian Peterson going from the Viking 20 to the Raider end zone to ice it, or at least put the Vikings out in front 30-14. 1:42, all 3 timeouts. Still time for Carr to try and make a dent as Latavius Murray takes the short pass and takes it up to the 24.
Well, obviously here you'll need 2 quick scores and two-point conversions for this Raiders offense. But I got to give credit where credit's due. This Vikings defense, when they needed to make a play, they didn't play it safe. Zimmer went aggressive, blitzed Derek Carr 3 times in a row, forced a turnover, and then, of course, Adrian Peterson put his signature on this game.
And the Viking defense, they came in 2nd in the NFL. The most important stat, the scoring defense, allowing just 17.5 points a game. All day for Carr. Signaling for his receiver to go deep, and he has to keep it. Wisely tries to get a first down and get out of bounds to stop the clock.
I think this is going to be a tough ask for Derek Carr in this defense. They will play it safe here. Don't want anything to go over the top of their head for sure now. But he's going to have to make some quick throws, some quick decisions, get the ball in the hands of his playmakers. They got a lot of field to cover right now.
Down. We're waiting. What's up?
Michael Rivera with the catch and carry and a good gain up to the 43. It'll be first down for the Raiders. Latavius Murray just 12 attempts rushing the football today. Vikings got out to the early lead and have been able to stay out in front other than a brief moment when it was 14-13. Carr again underneath, taking advantage. That's Olawale with another first down inside the Viking 45. It was Harrison Smith, as the Raiders will use a timeout, who said, Ronde, when I tried to rattle off some of the statistics for this Viking defense, how good they were. He said, we're kind of aware of the stats, but really we're more aware of getting turnovers and keeping teams out of the end zone, and we just saw an example of that.
The one thing they haven't been doing well this year is creating turnovers on defense. Got 2 of them today by Terrence Newman, 2 crucial ones, both set up scores. I don't think you expect the one to go 80 yards for Adrian Peterson, but that is the way it played out for this Vikings defense. And if they could do that on top of their division now, if they win this football game over Green Bay, look out for this team. They are, I think, the real deal, Chris.
Well, the Vikings with Zimmer, they remind me of the Seahawks with young Russell Wilson when they started their surge with their defense and then got on a run in the division and then in the Super Bowl. Carr floats one to Rivera, who's got a first down to the 30. But in a tough division with the Green Bay Packers, again, who lost today. And if the Vikings go on to win here, 7-2. Last time they were 7-2 was when they went to 8-1 in 2009 on their way to a 12-4 season. And that was the year they lost with Favre in the championship game. Nice sideline catch Falling out of bounds is Rivera. Zimmer waited for his head coaching opportunity after interviewing quite a bit. Coming as a defensive coordinator last year, got the Vikings to 7 wins, and they'll match that today if they hold on here.
Hey, Ron, 50. Hey, we're waiting. What's up?
Ball was tipped, but it still was caught by Jameis Olawale inside the 10. And we'll have another timeout. The Raiders will have 1 remaining. Today's game of Mike Burke's production, directed by Michael Frank. Our technical producer, Tom Lynch. Technical director, Ernest Bauer. Audio mixer, Kevin McCloskey. Tape operators, Don Vermillion and Pat Caballero. Mark Sosna, James Petralka, Rick Odioso helping us with today's statistics. Up in the booth with us, Bill Anderson and Chip Weaver. Jason Knapp on audio. And Alicia Foles, our booth here in Oakland, to see the game. Enjoyed. We always love coming to Oakland. We were here last year when, RONDE, we saw Derek Carr and the Raiders knock off the 49ers. He talked about that being a turning point for this team last year, and now with Jack Del Rio.
This team still's got a chance. They're not going to win this football game, but I like what they have on offense. They can play better on defense for sure. But in the AFC, with it looks like it's going down in their division, Kansas City is beating Denver. And there's no reason this team can't factor in later in the year. It'll have to be on the arm of Derek Carr. Running game is good, but he is a special player. The better he plays, the better this team will be.
And the Raiders would be at Detroit. Again, the Lions winning today at Lambeau, and at Tennessee, home with the Chiefs, and at Denver. So certainly the way the season has gone with this offense, and normally more explosive than this, there's a chance the Raiders could get on a run.
Well, they came against an immovable force here with this Vikings defense. They're just really good, play well together.
Catch made in the end zone, but Seth Roberts was out of bounds. 8 seconds remain.
Check this at the very end of the play, and Seth Roberts makes the catch. Let's see if that that left foot is out of bounds. So that is the correct call, is an incomplete pass.
3 straight games with 3 touchdown passes or more for Derek Carr. You harken back to those Raider days of Darryl LaMonica, of course, through the years with Kenny Stabler.
We're waiting.
If he gets one here, yes.
Room to run on the throw. Catch made as the clock ran out. He was not able to stay in bounds and make the catch, and it ends on that. Back and forth for a while on the knockout punch delivered by Peterson after an interception by Terrence Newman, and the Vikings go to 7-2 with a 30-14 win. The Raiders slip to 4-5. We'll have more from Oakland in just a moment.